All right, let's get rid of paper within your business. And the way that we're going to do this is just in 2 steps. So we're going to create a form, and then the form is going to have an automation. And the automation is going to tell the system like, hey, do X, Y, Z after the form is filled out. So stay with me. We're going to do this in 2 steps. Let's jump on the computer. First things first, let's click Sites on the left-hand side, and then let's click Forms at the top, and we'll go into the builder, and let's add a brand new form. Let's click the blue button, Add Form. And let's just build one from scratch. You can also play around with the templates if you want to, but for this example, I'm just going to do one from scratch. And then also, I'm going to do the example of a real estate agent hosting an open house. So as people walk in through the door, they need to collect some information. So let's first start off with renaming this to open house form. You can rename this to whatever you're going to be doing. If you're going to be doing, door knocking, or if you have an event, you can name this form whatever event you're doing. So I like to customize the form a little bit, and I don't recommend this, but I personally like to delete all of these like verifications. So you just click on the element right here and you can just trash this. Same with this privacy policy and terms and conditions. I like to have a clean form. What I also like to do is customize the form exactly to what it is you want to collect. So far there's first name, last name, phone, email. I say we add in a question in here. And what I'm doing on this left-hand side, these are all elements you can drag and drop into the form. And one that I want to show the example of is this checkbox. So this is the one that I want to just bring in to the form, and I want to ask a question. So the label over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to go, are you working with a realtor? And then this is the content. I'm going to go into the options over here on the top right-hand corner. And then I'm going to change option 1 to yes, change option 2 to no. I'm going to delete option 3. So that way, when people are filling out this form, there's also a question that they need to answer, yes or no. And then see how these have like little asterisks? That means that it's a required entry in order to hit the submit button. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to hit this little settings button, and I'm going to make this a required field. So that way people have to fill that out in order to submit it. And then also this button, I don't know why it says button here, but let's change this to say submit. And I'm also going to hit this little setting icon. Let's go into a black. Change the theme. Let's change the theme into a black. I don't really like that one. I'm going to go into this one. That one's cool. Let's keep it minimal, keep it clean. So take your time to really like organize the form exactly how you want. Ask questions. Don't ask too much. I'm a big believer in less is more, but feel free to ask, maybe like a couple of questions. That way you can capture some useful information for that lead. So once you organize everything, just hit save. So step 1 is done. Now let's get into creating an automation. So that way, whenever this form is filled out, it's going to do X, Y, Z. So we're going to hit back over here. And we're going to click automation on the left-hand side. And let's do a brand new automation, create workflow. And we'll just do one from scratch. And at the top, let's rename it whatever the event of the form that you did. In my case, I'm going to do open house form. And then we're going to start off with creating a trigger. So we're going to go add new trigger. And here where it says search for triggers, you're going to just search for form. Form submitted is the one that we want. And we're going to add a filter. We're going to hit select, and we're going to go form is. And now we just have to look for that form. Open house form, that's the one we just created. So we're telling the system, okay, every time this form is submitted, I want you to do this, 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 this. So let's do this together. The very first thing, let's hit the plus sign. So here at the top, let's search for tag. And here it is, add contact tag. And in this case, since this is an open house, I want to tag all of these leads that come through this form being submitted, open house. And boom, there it is. If it doesn't show up here, you can just add a new tag. All right, so now it creates this for us, and let's keep the automation going. So now I say we give ourselves a notification. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to hit the plus sign, hit internal, or type internal. And we're going to hit this button right here, send internal notification. And I personally like to send myself text messages, but you can also do, email, or you can do a push notification on your Lead Connector app. But in this case, I'm just going to do SMS, select user type. I'm going to go particular user, and then I'm going to select myself in here. So as you grow within your CRM, you can select different team members, but I'm just going to do myself. And then in this, I'm going to say you have a new open house sign in from, and then I'm going to click this little icon and I'm going to grab the contact's full name. That way I know who signed in and I can get a notification that they filled out the form. So next, let's keep it going. Let's make this automation run. So let's do an SMS and let's now text the lead. You've successfully signed in at the open house. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add an attachment, upload from system. I'm going to actually attach my business card. So I just found this file that is on my computer, and this is just my business card. So that way, as soon as someone hits submit on this form, they'll receive a text message from me with my business card. And I'm also going to add this in the text. This is Jesse, by the way. Thanks for stopping by. Save my number. Smiley face. All right, so now we have this automation up and running. I'm going to publish this and I'm going to save it, but I don't want to leave you here. I want you to know that you can continue this automation for as long as you want. And so here's how we're going to do that. So we're going to hit this plus sign underneath SMS and we're going to go wait. And now what I'm introducing into here are wait systems. So we're telling the system, okay, I want you to wait. Let's go 2 hours. So from the time that they sign in at the open house, this wait step, and see how it just says wait here? I'm going to add 2 hours so that way it's easier on the eye. That way it shows up here. I'm going to tell the system, hey, wait 2 hours, and in 2 hours, do this. So I'm going to send another text in 2 hours after they sign in, and I'm going to say, hey, what did you think about the open house? I think that's a good question. And so take the time to come up with the content in here and try to project yourself into the future. And there are ways to help you organize this. And I'm going to show you this really quick. So I'm going to open up ChatGPT. Give me text ideas that I can use for people signing into my open house sign-in sheets. All right, so here's the prompt that I'm going to be using. You can pause the video here just so you can see the prompt, but I'm going to just hit enter. So now what you can do is you can use ChatGPT to pretty much come up with some of the content in your follow-up text messages to make this easier. And you can even take this to a point where you can copy and paste some of these questions. So like you can copy this right here, and then you can go over here to JTech, and in this text, you can paste it in here, and you can go save action. So this is how we're going to get you to automate a lot of your follow-up. One thing to note is be careful when you're using this. Like ChatGPT automatically put bracket name bracket. That's not the script within JTech. And what you can do is you can go over here and you can grab the custom value within JTech. So you can go contact first name. So this is the script that it should be using in order to grab that contact's first name. So what you could do is go back into AI and you can say, use this for first name script. And now what it will do is it'll rewrite everything to make sure that it uses the proper script. And it makes it much easier to copy and paste now. One other thing too that I want to let you know is that within the automation, if you click settings on the top up here, then you can enable this setting right here, stop on response. It'll come disabled. You can enable it. So if you get a text back from a lead, it'll automatically pull them out of the automation. And then also, if you scroll down, there's a time window here. You can send outbound, text messages. If you also do emails, it'll do emails too. And then you can select which days and what times the outbound gets sent. And then also down here, if you have multiple phone numbers, you can select whatever phone number. And then you can also select the default name and email that the emails are coming from. All right, let's get back into the video. All right, so here's a bonus for your business. Click sites on this left-hand side and click QR code. And let's make a QR code from that form that we just filled out. So that way people can get to it much easier. So let's create a form. Let's create a QR code and let's call this open house sign in. And the one that we're going to select here is form. and let's click on next. And now we just have to look for that form that we just made. There it is. Let's click next. And now we can customize this however we want to customize it. You can do different shapes, different logos, etc. But you're pretty much done. You can hit save, and now you can hit these 3 dots, download it in a PNG, and put this on, you know, open house flyers, put this on door knocking flyers. You can also use this for yourself. So if leads are coming up to you, ask them the questions. That way you fill it out on their behalf. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.